Nebraska has two faces. On one hand, it's a vast agricultural state with modern transportation routes. On the other, hidden far from the main roads, are tiny towns that feel frozen in time. Here, dirt roads are still part of daily life, and neighbors can recognize each other just by the cars they drive. From the western border to the river valleys in the east, let's explore 15 remote towns in the Cornhusker State, places with unique stories, big challenges, and hidden charms. Our journey begins at Nebraska's far western edge, in the tiny village of Henry. Located in Scottsbluff County, right on the Wyoming border, there's only one quiet country road leading in, making it feel cut off from the outside world. Fewer than 200 people live here, most working on farms or ranches. Some abandoned buildings stand as reminders of the population decline over the years. Still, the views along the Platte River are striking, especially at sunset when the light dances across the water. Founded along an early 20th century trade route, Henry has held on to its peaceful, rural western character. If Henry feels quiet, travel a bit east to reach Minatare. First founded as the farming town of Tabor in 1887, it was later moved and renamed Minatare in 1900. The annual Tabor Days Festival still honors that history. Today, about 800 residents call it home, and it's known for its water tower, often said to be the oldest in Nebraska. Life here still revolves around farming, especially the cornfields stretching in every direction. Despite being close to the larger city of Scottsbluff, Minatare retains a slower, calmer rhythm. Its biggest challenge is keeping its younger generation from leaving, as many move away and never return. From Minatare, the road to Broadwater feels endless. This tiny Morrill County village has fewer than 100 residents. Its isolation forces people to be self-reliant, but also builds a tight-knit community. Once an important stop for transporting crops, Broadwater still has old buildings from the railroad's glory days, standing as silent witnesses to economic change. Life here is dictated by the planting and harvest seasons, with the weather calling the shots. Heading north, we come to Chadron, the largest town on our list, with just over 5,000 residents. Despite its size, it still feels far from the hustle of any major city. Chadron is best known as the educational hub of Nebraska's Northwest, thanks to Chadron State College. History runs deep here. The town is home to the Museum of the Fur Trade, telling the story of when this area was a major crossroads for trade between Native Americans and European explorers. That heritage comes to life every summer during Fur Trade Days, a festival that draws visitors from across the region, proving that the past still shapes the town's heartbeat. From lively Chadron, a short drive south brings you to Hay Springs. Founded in 1885 with the arrival of the Fremont, Elkhorn, and Missouri Valley Railroad, its name comes from a natural spring surrounded by tall grass, a welcome stop for early settlers and pioneers. Today, roughly 550 people live here, relying on farming and ranching to make a living. Hay Springs has a warm, close-knit feel where the annual town festival is a highlight of the year. But its remote location also means challenges, especially when it comes to accessing major healthcare services. In the end, residents depend heavily on each other, a way of life that feels worlds apart from the anonymity of big cities. Farther south, we reach Keystone, a tiny village with fewer than 70 residents. One of its quirkiest landmarks is a single small church that serves both Catholic and Protestant congregations, sharing one building for two faiths. Keystone sits close to Lake McConaughey, which brings a wave of visitors in summer and a boost to the local economy. But once the vacation season ends, the town slips back into its familiar quiet. Originally founded to serve railroad workers, Keystone still holds on to its early 20th century charm, a reminder of a slower, simpler time. Our journey continues northeast to a place once nicknamed the Wonder City during World War I, Antioch. Back then, the town boomed thanks to its sodium sulfate industry, a key ingredient in glassmaking. The ruins of old factories still stand today, silent reminders of its short-lived but remarkable heyday. Now, it's often called a ghost town, with only a handful of residents surrounded by wide, empty plains. Antioch is a living example of how an economic boom can end abruptly, leaving behind a small community struggling to hold on. Have you ever heard of Wood Lake? It's not just any remote town. It holds the title of the oldest in Cherry County. Founded in the late 19th century, Wood Lake was once a bustling place with a population of over 350 and a thriving business district. But like many small towns, it faced a series of hardships. The impact of World War II sparked a population decline, and the closure of the Bank of Wood Lake in 1965, followed by devastating store fires in 1974, hit it even harder. Today, only about 48 people call it home. Despite its size, the town takes great pride in its history. Hunting season brings in a few visitors, but for most of the year, life here moves at a slow, steady pace. If Wood Lake feels quiet, Bristow might feel even more so. Tucked in Boyd County near the South Dakota border, this farming town is home to just around 65 residents. Founded in 1895 during a railroad expansion, the trains are long gone, leaving only country roads as the main connection to the outside world. Named in honor of Benjamin Bristow, U.S. Treasury Secretary under President Ulysses S. Grant, the town sits not far from the scenic Niobrara River, a source of local pride. Despite its size, Bristow's community spirit runs deep, proving that strength isn't measured by numbers. Even smaller than Bristow, Obert in Cedar County is home to just about 25 people. Surrounded by rolling green hills, this quiet farming village comes to life only during harvest season, when activity briefly picks up. With few facilities in town, residents often travel to nearby cities for daily needs. Extreme weather is not uncommon here, adding another layer of challenge for this tiny community. Not far from Obert lies Magnet, a small town with a name that instantly sparks curiosity. Legend has it, the name was chosen because the town once attracted many new settlers. Back in 1893, when the Chicago, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and Omaha Railway extended its line through here, founder B.E. Smith named it in hopes it would draw people like a magnet pulls iron. Today, only about 50 residents remain, far from what its founder envisioned, but the community is tight-knit, embodying the charm of the Midwest. Magnet has faced its share of hardships, including a major fire in 1925 and tornadoes in 1937 and 1975. Yet, its people stayed strong, earning the town its motto, Magnet, Too Tough to Die. And from all the towns we've talked about, this one might just win the title for most unique. Monowi is officially the only place in America with a population of just one. Elsie Eiler, the sole resident, also serves as mayor, librarian, and owner of the local tavern. Her Monowi Tavern and Rudy's Library have gained worldwide attention. In the 1930s, Monowi had around 150 residents and served as a railroad stop, but over the decades, it was slowly abandoned. Today, Monowi stands as a symbol of resilience, proving that even one person can keep a town alive. Travelers from across the globe come here just to meet Elsie, soak in the town's rare atmosphere, and tick this one-of-a-kind destination off their bucket list. Our journey continues to the tiny town of Belden, home to around 100 residents. It was founded in the early 20th century following the construction of the Western Pacific Railroad and named after the Belden family, one of the area's earliest settlers. This place, more of a village than a town, is surrounded by endless cornfields stretching as far as the eye can see. Community life often centers around the town hall, which hosts meetings and annual events. The railroad tracks that once connected Belden to other areas are now rarely used, though they remain a proud part of its history. Heading into Wayne County in the northeast, we arrive at Winside. With a population of just over 350, it's one of the busier places on this list. Founded in 1886 and originally called Northside, Winside has kept its small-town spirit alive. Life here revolves around community gatherings, from youth club activities and tractor pull competitions to an annual music festival. One standout feature is the local museum, housed in a repurposed church showcasing a collection of military history. While Winside offers more amenities than many other small towns, it still faces the challenge of keeping its younger generation from moving away. Finally, our journey ends in southeastern Nebraska in the small town of Shubert. The name may sound unfamiliar, but it holds a place in Nebraska's agricultural past. Once known as the Apple Orchard Center of Nebraska, thanks to its thriving orchards, Shubert reached its population peak in 1940 before gradually declining. Today, it's a quiet, fertile farming community of about 150 residents. Its location near Indian Cave State Park gives it some tourism potential, but Shubert still embraces its roots as a friendly agricultural town. Founded in the late 1800s, it has managed to keep much of its original charm intact. In the end, from the remote college town of Chadron to Monowi, run by a single resident, Nebraska's most isolated communities show many different faces of rural life. Some thrive on agriculture, some endure thanks to their history, and others simply enjoy a slow-paced peace. Each has a story worth telling. So if you had the chance to visit one, which would you choose?